welcome to Unity of Charlotte. We welcome you whether you're in the sanctuary, in person, on Zoom, or on YouTube. We're so glad that you find what we do worth your time. I am Lawrence Tolliver. I am a member of our Board of Trustees here at Unity of Charlotte. This is the place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. And simply put, this means we are here to love, grow, and serve. And we're happy to do that. I'm delighted to see everybody. So let's start the day by taking the unity prayer of oneness together. Together, there is one presence and one power in my life and universe, God, the good, omnipotent. So now let us contemplate a daily word, and the title is Comfort. The comforting love of God eases my burdens. I remember times in my life when I felt hurt or afraid, and how I was comforted by the kind words and actions of another. They reminded me I am loved and I am valued, and assured me that things were going to be okay. Even if conditions seemed bleak, trusting the support and care of a dear one comforted me. It is heartening to know the comforting love of God through others. This caring and warmth is not only mine to receive, but also mine to give. A compassionate act, a charitable word, and an understanding heart may well be exactly what someone else needs. God is the ultimate comfort. God is the security. God is the shelter for an aching heart and troubled mind. I comfort others when I open my heart to them and let the healing light of God shine through. From the scriptures, Psalms 119, verse 50. This is my comfort in my distress, that your promise, that is to say, God's promise, gives me life. Now join me for a brief word of prayer. Father, Mother God, we do know that your presence saturates the entire universe. It saturates each one of us. We are interwoven with your spirit through and through. The tiniest atom in our body, the tiniest molecule, the single drop of blood, all are saturated with you. We cannot exist except you be present. You awoke us to your infinite, powerful, loving presence some time ago. And we worship you for the magnificent ways in which you express yourself. We are one. It's a blessing that we are one. we express our heartfelt gratitude that there is no separation ever. We are one. And so it is. So at this time, we've got a few announcements about upcoming activities. So let me just clue you into just how active this spiritual community is. And we want you to take advantage of some of these opportunities. The Affirmative Prayer and Meditation Group will meet the first and third Tuesday evenings at 7:15 to 8 p.m. They set a prayerful energy for the church, the city, and the world. And Barbara Rolfe is our facilitator via Zoom. The Dialogue as Service Group meets by Zoom on Wednesdays at 1 to 2:30 p.m. and to continue their spiritual dialogue on the path of initiation. The Nature of the Soul is the next book in the series, Creative Thinking, also facilitated by Barbara Rolfe. The Unity Men's Group meets in person at the church on the second and fourth Wednesdays of each month at 9:30 to noon. And A Course in Miracles meets Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. on Zoom. So if you've got some Zoom experience, then we've got a lot of opportunities for you. Now, prayer is the foundation upon which unity was established many, many years ago. If you or a loved one has a need for prayer, please use the link on our website, and our website is unityofcharlotte.org. Use that link or call Silent Unity at 816-969-2000. And I'll repeat, if you want to touch base with Silent Unity, the number is 816-969-2000. All of these links and activities can be found on unityofcharlotte.org. And I want at this time for us to together to share and state our affirmation for a new meeting space. Can we go together with, we affirm that we have a new home for Unity of Charlotte that fulfills every need for space and use in order to support and share our unified purpose to love, grow, and serve. And so it is. Well, let me tell you that as we end October, that our new co-ministers will move to Charlotte during the first part of November, and that they will be participating in their first Board of Trustees meeting on November the 18th. It's a Friday. So we're at the board level looking forward to assembling with them and introducing them to our leadership and enabling all of us to get used to each other. The sooner we can plug them in, the better. I'll also tell you something in the way of our schedule for December. We know that Christmas falls on a Sunday, and the ministers have expressed their interest in a Christmas Eve service. So we will be hosting a Christmas Eve service and there will not be a service on Christmas Day. Okay, so for your planning purposes, for your family's planning purposes, just take note that we will have a Saturday evening service on the 24th. There will be no service on the 25th of December. Well, it is a pleasure at this time for me to bring to the podium a preacher, an educated preacher at that, because she is a reverend doctor is what she is. She has had training in metaphysics, and she is a true metaphysician. We have absolutely been enlightened by her words of insight and understanding over the past couple of years. We really do love her. So let her know that you do love her as we bring to the pulpit Reverend Dr. Adrian Calabrese.
Absolutely. Wow, how do you follow that? Ay, ay, ay. That's amazing. Thank you, Lawrence. All right, everybody. Good to be here. As always, I'm delighted to see all of you and to have the opportunity to speak with you. And last time we got together, we talked about saints and sinners. And we decided we were going to think about that they were both parts of our own ego system. We are both the saint and the sinner, and it's difficult sometimes to see which one we are in a given situation. And the last time we talked about that it might be fun to follow the sinner in a decision when we have to make it at the spur of the moment, rather than follow the saint. And the saintly way may be the more difficult route to take. And we fluctuate between both of those, saint and sinner, and depends upon the circumstance that we're in. Today, I told you I would talk about how we can go from sinner to saint. But before we do that, let's recap a little bit. We talked about the light side, the angel side of us that makes those choices. That side is patient and loving and caring and cares about other people a lot. But the dark side, well, the dark side is self-gratifying. It blames others. It doesn't really care too much about somebody else's feelings. And it is hard to believe that that is part of who we are. But as humans, that's the truth, as they say. The angel and the devil, I said, we're on our shoulders, on our right shoulder, that's that angel, the left shoulder may be that devil. It's a good way to think about it and to remember it. They are on our shoulders, constantly fighting with each other for dominance. Who's going to win today when we have a choice to make? We have thousands of choices to make in any given week. When you realize how many choices you have to make in a day, in an hour, it's astounding. And when some of them are really, really important, that's when these two begin fighting with each other. We talked about examples of each of these, and we talked about the fatal flaw that you might have in your personality. And we thought about that. We said, what is it within me that defeats me every time? What is the quality in me that I wish I could get under control? And by the same token, we talked about the greatest quality within you and how we're not so quick to jump to that quality and give ourselves credit for having it. Other people will tell us, as I said, they'll let you know what your dark side is, but they're not so eager to let you know what your light side is, your good side. So today we're going to talk about the hows, the how-tos. Now, what are we going to do to go from sinner to saint? And hopefully we don't go back again from saint to sinner. I talked about the last time, some of those examples of going from saint to sinner. And one of them was, I mentioned people on a bus. You're on a bus, all the seats are taken. You recall this maybe, if you heard part one. All the seats are taken on the bus. You're sitting on the bus and someone comes on that is handicapped in some way, or it cannot function very well. Maybe they're weak, maybe they're an older person, a pregnant woman, and they're standing and everyone else is sitting on the bus. What do you do? What do you do? And a friend of mine told me recently that exact situation of a crowded area where people were sitting and someone was in need of a seat, no one got up. No one. What should we do? Right? It's all too common in the world. It's all too common. We talked about too that you get change in a department store from someone and it's a little bit more than the money you gave to pay for the item you were paying for. Are you going to say to the clerk here, oh, you gave me too much change? I don't know. You know, some people I've actually heard people, you might have to say, you know what? I got this free. You got it free. How'd you get it free? Were they giving them away? No, she gave me back all my money plus some. And I'm shocked when I hear it. I don't want to say, you did what? I kind of go, oh, they didn't notice? Yeah. No, but that poor clerk's going to know it at the end of the day when that register doesn't tally. So what happens there? And we talked about somebody stranded with a flat tire on a very dark road and there are no other cars but you. What do you do then? You know? I saw someone, it was crazy, at the Arboretum in Charlotte. It was the middle of the day and I was driving through the parking lot and I saw a woman laying on the ground in front of a tree, you know, where those trees are in the parking lot, you know, there's concrete and then she's laying half on the tree and on the concrete and cars are going whoosh and whoosh and whoosh. And I thought, how do I get out of here? How do I stop my car? How do I, you know, my thought was, somebody's got to help that woman. I didn't know if she was hurt or what was going on there. And I tried desperately, but there was such a line of cars, I couldn't get to her. She was way far ahead of me. And I thought, well, I'll just pull in here and then I'll walk over there. And by the time I did that, somebody finally got up, out and helped her. Thank God. Thank God. So there are people out there that know what the saint side is and know what to do and know what to do. As we say in the Bronx, you got to do the right thing. You do the right thing. And that's enough to know we can go from saint to sinner in a matter of seconds. We can go from sinner to saint in a matter of seconds. And which one do we want to do? Because awareness is the key. Each time you are confronted with a situation in your life, you are given a choice. It's a choice, an opportunity, I call it, to either be a saint or a sinner. What's the opportunity? So what do you want to stock into your spiritual bank? What do you want to put in that bank? Do you want to put in some nice bucks, the good stuff, so that your spiritual bank gets bigger and bigger, that account grows and grows and grows. And when your account grows, everybody else's account grows, because that's the way it works. You know, when we help ourselves, we help other people. When we help other people, we help ourselves. That's the way we believe in metaphysics. That's what metaphysicians believe. Believes that everything that happens to me happens to you and vice versa. So, what happens when no one gives up their seat to all of us? What happens to all of us? And what happens when someone gets out and helps a person off the ground? That happens to all of us. What we want to do is stack the deck in the right direction. Yeah. So how do we do that? You know, how do we do it? How do we go from saint to sinner and hopefully not back again? Well, it's just a choice away, a choice away. That's it. It's a decision, a choice. It's that simple, easy to do, but awareness is the key. Awareness. You got to be aware, as we said the last time, what's your strength? What's your weakness? How do you normally respond to stressful situations? How do you want to respond to stressful situations? And it involves self-examination. I know I hear the moans out there. I hear you. I'm with you. Well, you know, I used to teach philosophy at the University of Connecticut, and Socrates, you may have heard this line before. Socrates was said to have said, "The unexplained life is not worth living." And he said that on the day that he was sentenced to death for corrupting the youth in Greece. And he corrupted the youth by forcing them to ask questions. That's why we call it the Socratic method in a courtroom. Question, answer, question, answer. That's what he used to do with his students. Ask them these insightful questions and want them to respond. And he was put to death for it. Saint to sinner, huh? When we think about self-examination, it used to be outlawed. Nobody wanted to think about it. I don't want to think about that. Don't let me think about that. You have to look inside. You have to do it. And you have to do it willingly, and you have to do it happily, and you have to do it with an eye to how you can serve God, yourself, and others. Because that's what self-examination is all about. What can I do, and what is it within me that can change not only my life, but somebody else's for the better? And when we do that, we serve God. It's that simple. So when you look at your own flaws in self-examination, and I have done this many, many times, and I still do it all the time. The first thing you have to do is recognize what that flaw is within you, your weakness, your weakest link. And then, and this is the hard part, you have to accept it. You have to say, all right, that is me. I do that. Yeah, I know. And if you ask a friend and you say, do I? Whatever it happens to be, and they go, oh yeah, big time. But they love you anyway, which is great, But you have to accept that that is part of your nature, of your humanness. And that's why we're here, to transcend some of those weaknesses and make them strengths, turn them into strengths, turn them around. Once you examine them, you accept them, you examine them, you meditate on them, you pray on them, and you release them to spirit. And you say to spirit, you say to God, okay, you take this from me, or you help me to control this. Because I know where my weakest link is, and I don't want that to permeate every choice I make in my life, or the important ones. I want to make the right choices for me. So you ask God to help you to control the weakness, to help you to transform it, to transcend it. Then the sinner in you will never overshadow the saint. It just can't. Once you have focused and committed to that purpose, you will not have a problem going from sinner to saint ever, because you have committed to that. You said, all right, I'm going to not jump to that negativity when I am confronted with a situation that gives me a choice. It's hard to do, believe me, I understand when you're in that moment, sometimes it's such a quick moment, you can't think, oh. But I have a solution for that too. When you're looking at your good qualities, you need to do the same thing. You need to examine them, accept them. That's the thing I want you to do with all your heart. Accept what's good about you without feeling like you're being prideful, because you're not. It's not a matter of pride. You're saying, I'm a decent person. I'm good at X, Y, Z. Other people don't want you to feel good about that stuff. For some reason, they don't like it. There are people that you will meet in life who don't like people that are trying to do good things. I met a guy once years ago who had said to me, you seem to be a happy person. I hate happy people. I looked at him and I said, in my best Bronx, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You hate happy people? Holy moly. I do not want to know what your wife is like. I'm sure she's not a happy person. That's for sure. Ask God for the strength, and not only the strength, but the kindness to do the right thing. The kindness within you to come to the surface when you are confronted with one of those situations that could go either way, either or, like the bus or the change you make or whatever in the store, whatever it happens to be. You want not only the strength, but also the kindness to pop to the surface, When a situation that can go either way arises, you have choices to make. Okay, so I have a little exercise for you. It's not hard. Won't hurt, but it could help. I did this exercise with about 600 or 700 people at one of my ministerial conventions. And I'll tell you, people stopped me after it and just said, wow, that thing works. I can't believe how that works. So I'm going to give it to you. All right. And this is an exercise that will help you to make choices, maybe not exactly in that moment. Sometimes this doesn't work. You can't stop. But when there is a big choice for you to make in your life, whether to go one way or another, and it could be a saintly way or a sinner way, or maybe neither is sinning, maybe both are saintly, but you can't make the choice. I want you to have this exercise to do. This is what we're going to do. I'll tell you what we're going to do. All right. We are going to close our eyes and we are going to try to visualize. Now, if you can't visualize, that's okay. You just talk to yourself. You tell yourself that's what you're seeing. Okay. That's how you do it if you can't visualize right away. All right. So what I want you to do is just for a moment, think about a choice that you have to make. It doesn't have to be profound. It could be small. Could be, where am I going for lunch, or what am I doing for Thanksgiving, or something more profound. Should I take that medication? Shouldn't I? Think about a choice, all right? Put that foremost in your mind right now. Then the visualization is going to be of two roads, which road to take, which choice to make, okay? One of the roads is going to be dark. The other road is going to be bright and light. So now, for a few moments, if you will close your eyes, but before you do, I want you to think about what would a beautiful light road look like to you? Something you love to walk down. Maybe you walk down it around your home, and maybe you hike around it, but let's visualize that. So if you close your eyes for just a moment and allow that vision of that road, that beautiful, bright road. Maybe it's lined with gorgeous trees, or maybe it's along a brook or a river. Look at that road and how bright it is and how light it is and how good it makes you feel when you go down that road. I want you to feel that right now. Feel how good that feels to be walking down this beautiful path. Something that makes you very happy, makes you feel very close to God. Okay. And now, while your eyes are still closed, I want you to envision a road that's not so nice, that's dark, that's scary, that's uncomfortable. Maybe something at night, or maybe just something that's overshadowed by clouds, or maybe it's a dark pathway through a forest. Allow that vision of the dark road to come to your mind now. How does that feel? Does it feel uncomfortable? Is it a path you want to take or not? It won't feel as good as the light road, the bright road. This one feels ominous, feels uncertain, feels doubtful. And now I want you to shift your attention back to that choice you need to make, that decision you might need to make. Put that focus in the front of your mind. And now for a few moments, I'm going to ask you to allow the road that you should take to come to your mind. Allow the vision of the road that gives you the yes, the bright one, or the no, the dark one. Don't fight the image, just allow the first one that pops into your head when you're making this choice. Take note of the road and know that the voice of spirit within you has just given you some guidance which way you should go. And now just quietly and gently return to consciousness and open your eyes. It's a nice little exercise to do when you've got choices to make. Hopefully, those roads have popped into your mind and you know which way to go. Trust it. It's the voice of God within you, your highest guidance coming to the fore. Use that exercise when you need it, when you have time to do it. And sometimes in the moment on the bus, you don't have time to do that. But I will tell you, if you practice making choices, taking the higher road or not in a situation, you will not have to think about it in the spur of the moment. It will become second nature to you. It will become automatic. The choices will be evident when you practice this spiritual muscle. It's easy to be a sinner. It's hard to be a saint. But nobody said life was going to be a cakewalk. That's not it. That ain't it, kid. That ain't it, kid. What you want is to know that you are making those choices based on the highest part of your being, which is God. And that's what we want to rely on. Because when you get this, when this becomes rote to you, when you can go to this automatically, you are transcending that dark part of you, or it's helping you make a choice as to do something or not to do something. So those two roads will tell you yes or no. And then you will always respond in a positive way, because you need to understand the repercussions of your choice. What are the repercussions of that choice in the moment? and the person on the bus who needs the seat and you're seated, well, what's the repercussion for them? Can you do something to ease their discomfort, make it a little easier for them when it's just an inconvenience to you? What's the repercussion of what you're about to do? You think it's nothing. And when you do something like that, I've seen people's faces when I've done something like that, when I've had the opportunity. Doesn't arise often, but when I've done something like that, the look in their eyes is like, thank you so much. And I can't believe, I see that. I can see how much they appreciate that. The repercussions of your choices, there will always be repercussions, whether you make a saint choice or a sinner choice, there will be repercussions. Think about those. Think about what you can do. What you can do. Can you ease the pain for someone else when it's only an inconvenience to you? Take care not to make snap judgments. This is important. I don't know if you know that website, it's called nextdoor.com, and it's all of these little neighborhoods. It's divided into neighborhoods, and people go online and they make comments about, what's happening in the neighborhood, and some of the comments are not so nice and some of them are. And one day somebody posted something I saw that it was about the panhandlers, the folks that stand at the crossroads and want you to give money. And this one person said, don't give any money to those panhandlers, because I saw one of those guys in a car, at the mall, getting out and going into the store at the mall in a car, and they're standing there on the street getting money from you. Stop giving it. And I thought, wow. Not that I think we should keep giving money to pan. That's not the point. The point is this. It's your intention. What's your intention in that moment? If you see someone and you feel moved to give them a couple of bucks, if you feel moved, that is the God within you saying, this guy may need some help. And you can't make that judgment, or you shouldn't make the judgment as to what that person should do with the couple of bucks you give them. It's your intention, regardless of whether they appreciate what you did or not, or how they spent it. It's like giving somebody money and saying, all right, now, this is what you have to spend it on. You can't spend it on anything else but this. It's not the idea of to make a judgment about someone else because they don't deserve it. How can you make that choice? When you are moved to do something for someone, the saint comes out in you. The saint is calling you. So you give a couple of bucks and you say, God bless you. And I remember giving one guy some money, and he said, oh, God bless you. I said, no, God bless you. I said, I hope you can do something good with that. I hope it brings you joy. However you want to use it, I wanted to say. But that's not for me to judge. It's for me to say, is the saint or the sinner going to come out here? And I don't do it every time I see someone. I wait for Spirit to tell me, this is the person who needs you to do this. You'll know it. You'll know it. You'll ask God and you'll know it. So those snap judgments, it doesn't matter. Saints don't make those judgments. They base their choices on intention, a good intention. You know, Unity's purpose here, to love, grow, and serve. That's the intention. That's the intention. So when you examine yourself and you give love, you grow spirit in the universe, and that serves God, ourselves, and others. We love, we grow, we serve. That's what saints do automatically. Automatically. It's a knee-jerk response. And they do it humbly, and with integrity, caring about whomever it is that they feel moved to help. Whatever choice it is, that they are confronted with. You'll have to tell that devil to go take a walk. My mother used to say in her best Bronx, take a long walk off a short cliff. Yeah, she used to say that when she didn't like somebody. Yeah, he should take a long walk off a short cliff. Thanks, Ma. She's probably going, yeah, on the other side. Yeah, that's right. Selflessness, try to say that 10 times fast, gets you more bucks in your spiritual bank than anything else. Those saintly choices help you to love, grow, and serve humbly and with honor and with integrity, telling that devil to take a walk. And when you do, you add joy and kindness and love to the universe, and you get it back tenfold. Tenfold. That's how it comes back. Tenfold. There's an author I don't know if you're familiar with, Stuart Wilde. Some of you may have heard of him. He used to write a lot in the early days of the New Age. He passed away, but I used to like his books because he writes with humor. And they're still out there if you want to get them. And he said something in one of his books that I truly enjoy. And I'm going to read this to you. He says, we should live our lives impeccably, making impeccable decisions in all areas of our lives. Impeccability leads to self-respect, confidence, and humility. And it does, and it will. If you strive for your personal best, and you're a walking example of spirit on the planet, that's when the saint is overcoming the sinner. Here's my affirmation for you today. I live my life as an honorable human being, and so it is. If you live honorably, when the choice to be a saint or a sinner arises in your life, it'll be a snap. It'll be an automatic response. The devil will be knocked right off that shoulder, and instead, you will fly with the angels. Thank you, everybody, and God bless you today. Spin around this way.
Thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Adrian. Let her know how much that meant to us. Thank you so much. I must admit something, though. Yes, your presentation today reminded me of something my mother confronted me with when I was like 17 or 18. She apparently had been holding this in for a while, and then she just, almost in exasperation, she says, you know what, son? You're self-centered. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth about that thing because, I need to tell you the truth. That was 1959. 1950, more than 50 years ago. And it's stuck. It still sticks. So when I, am presented with choices now that I have awakened to my spiritual nature and to the presence of good everywhere, I remember I'm not going to be self-centered or selfish or stingy, And so I do my best to do good because of something else that you said today, Reverend Dr. Adrian. You said the good each of us does is good for all. That's what I heard. And I think that is such an outstanding mantra. The good I do is good for all. That's the way it works in the metaphysical world, period. We're good? This was a lovely message, and we do thank you so much for putting thought to it and presenting it to us in a manner in which we can apply it to ourselves personally. Well, it is time for our offertory today, and we do have a offertory blessing that we want all of you to say together. Joyously, I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.